All right. Howdy. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. I keep wanting to look over there and not here, which is a little bit dangerous, but I've also got to check my frame, make sure my head's not out of the thing, you know, and you can see everything and I'm in focus because manual lenses. Someday we'll fix that. It's not this day. 'Tis not this day.
This day we fight!
Anyways, today we're talking about things I wish I had done earlier in my filmmaking career. These are not things that I wish I had done in my career, but things I would have done for my career. I've been doing this for nearly 10 years. I've been doing it in multiple states. I have traveled all over the place to do this job. I have worked primarily in music, but also in documentary and commercial and narrative, and I've worked on features and shorts and you name it. I've probably worked on something in that world. And that's pretty cool. That makes me very happy. I am 28 years old. And like to look back at past me and be able to tell little tiny Ty, you get to hold cameras for a living, would feel pretty rad. Like that's really cool. That being said, because I work in music, sometimes I get hit up by people moving to Nashville, which is where I live, and they will get coffee with me and they want to ask how I got started, what to do, I don't know. I don't know why they're asking me. I barely know what I'm doing. But I figured I would make a quick video. It's not gonna be that quick, I'll be honest. It's gonna be long. It's gonna take a while to get through all these because it is 10 things I wish I had done earlier in my career. So without further ado, number 1, read more scripts. I didn't start reading scripts until I was 24 or 25. I had already made the goal of making my first feature before I turned 30. I made that goal when I was 21. I was like, 9 years, I got plenty of time. And for some reason, I waited like almost 4 full years to even start reading scripts. I was writing scripts. I was already I'd probably tried and failed to write like 2 to 3 different features, and I'd probably written 4 or 5 shorts at that time, some of which are good, some of which are terrible. And while I think it's important to like, don't get hung up on like what everyone else is doing, go ahead and do your own thing, start creating now, not later. Yes, but like I should have been reading scripts. I'm not gonna beat myself up for like not reading things in high school before I knew I wanted to be a filmmaker. But when I was 21 and I decided I want to pursue this, I want to like be a filmmaker, I want to be a writer director, I really should have started reading scripts like as soon as possible. And it wasn't until I was probably 24 that I like really hunkered down and was reading scripts. And the only reason I did was because I was engaged at the time. I was spending a lot of time at my now wife, but then fiance's apartment. And like, she'd be working sometimes and like, I wouldn't have very much to do. And I didn't have like a camera or like music equipment. And so I'd start reading scripts on a Kindle. Why did it take me that long? I don't know. Now I have like a gnarly, awesome collection of screenplays, and I read a lot of screenplays, and I think it's only done good things for me as a filmmaker. So I would absolutely say I wish I had read as many scripts as I could as a young budding filmmaker. I think it would have helped me a lot just to understand story structure better, understand some of the rules, understand the formatting. For a guy that didn't ever go to film school, if you want to be a writer, you should like be aware of like what the norm is, like how people do this. But I don't know. I have no idea why I didn't do that earlier. All right, number 2, write scripts. Could have seen that coming. I was writing scripts, but like I wasn't following through. I've started so many features, so many of them, and I didn't stick it out and finish a first draft of a feature until I was 26. It might have been 25. I married in 22. I was 24 years old. Yeah. So I was 26, I think. when I finally finished my first draft of a feature that I probably will not make. That feature, it wasn't something that I wanted to spend 3 years of my life making. I wrote it in about 2 months, I think. If you're curious about that, go watch the old vlog. That was the first feature script I ever wrote all the way through. And I posted every single day as I was writing the first draft of it on YouTube. And I'm super proud of that. But I don't know why that was the first one. Like I said, I'd wanted to be a filmmaker for 5 years at that point. So like, I should have just been really like sitting down and finishing those scripts. And a lot of this is probably like due to some undiagnosed ADHD that I only, learned about in the last year. So that could help. That has something to do with it. But at the same time, I could have finished it if I wanted to. And there's a handful of other scripts that I like started, threw out the window, came back to, still didn't finish them. I'm sure most of them are bad. I'm sure most of them are not great. But I think putting in the reps and getting a script finished, especially a feature film, really sets you up for success, because like learning how to write a 90-page script is very, very different than writing a 10-page script or even 20-page script. And I had written a lot of short films by that time, but like I wish I was writing way more. All right. Yeah, okay. Number 3. Making shorts. God, I didn't make... This is a sticky one for me. But make more shorts. I do really wish I had done this more. I still want to do this more. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, well, let's just make movies. Like, because I don't want to be a shorts director, I want to be a movie director. And I do think they are different, and they're different skill sets. Some people are amazing short film directors, and some people are amazing movie directors, and sometimes those don't overlap. Sometimes they do, but I just think I would have been stretching like more of the like more of the technical skills that go into making narrative things by making shorts. I came up primarily making music videos and music-related content. That means there's an entire half of a movie that I was never even thinking about. So recording sound, editing sound, mixing sound, sound design, all of that stuff was something that I didn't do until, at least not a lot of, until I was 25. And I think if I had been working more in short films and doing those significantly more, I would have progressed in that side of my filmmaking career significantly more, which would have been helpful for a number of reasons. But, I started working for a documentary film company when I was 24, 25. And that was really one of the first times that I was like, oh, I'm like really messing with dialogue now. I'm like really paying attention to sound design, ambient noise, working with microphones, working with, all these different things. So over the last 3 to almost 4 years, I have gotten considerably better at this side of filmmaking, but I spent the first over half of my career really only paying attention to visuals. And that's a little tough. I wish I had made way more shorts, if only for that reason. But also, I think getting used to how does coverage make or break a scene? How does shooting things from one direction change the feeling of a scene? Like, there's so much that you can experiment with, in the way of like building and releasing tension, editing dialogue. Like, narrative editing feels different in a short than it does in a music video. There's things that can get you out of trouble in a music video that shorts you can't. So I think I would be a better filmmaker today if I had made way, way, way more shorts than I have, which means I should probably go and make some shorts, but whatever. If you're watching this, learn from my mistakes. Don't do what I did. Okay, this goes with that. made things consistently. Number 4. There were I still struggle with this all the time, is making something. I mean, in a dream world, it's making a 3-minute piece every week, right? Or a 10-minute piece every month or something, really putting in to make something that you feel really proud of. And even some of that would have been YouTube. I wish I had really committed to making YouTube way younger when I was 21. I got into filmmaking because of YouTube, because I really liked watching YouTube. And so that's how I learned how to edit. That's how I started learning how to shoot video. It's how I started learning audio stuff. And I just wish I had done more of that and sent it, and really gone for it. I think there's some really cool creators out there that have really unique voices and style and taste and tone about their videos, and they just committed to it at 20 years old. And I think I would have benefited significantly from that. I would have learned a lot, and who knows, I might have a different career trajectory if I had done that. I didn't, so we'll never know, but here we are. Oh man, this is a big one. Okay, number 5, storyboarding. I didn't start properly storyboarding really until the last year, and that sucks. Dude, I am really bad with shot lists. I don't like shot lists. They don't help me very much. Unless I am not directing, shot lists don't really help. They don't really communicate much to me. I already have stuff in my head, and so then it's kind of almost confusing for me to look at a Excel spreadsheet and be yep, got it. That, it doesn't work for me. So I would half storyboard something, and then I'd get halfway through and I'd be I'm not going to use this, and then I would kind of use it on set, but not really, because I didn't even really have it, and it would just I started storyboarding when I started doing more narrative music videos, and music videos that had higher budgets and things that I needed to convey what I wanted to make to an artist and a manager well before, as well as when I got a co-director. So maybe in the last 2 years I've started storyboarding, but over the last year I've started storyboarding significantly more and better. And all of my projects have gotten significantly better since I started doing so, for many reasons. 1, you're able to communicate what you want to do visually with your client, with your department heads, with your collaborators, way, way, way better. So it's that old saying of prepare for everything, but be prepared to pivot. Come to the day knowing exactly what you're gonna do, and then be surprised, right? That's what storyboarding is for me. And I don't know that I always understood that until I started doing it in the last year. And it's I have a lot of valuable skills as a director, and pivoting is one of those things. I'm able to see that something is not going well or isn't working or we're running out of time, and I'm able to mentally fix it and restructure our day and be okay, new plan, here's what we're gonna do, and it's still gonna work in the edit. It's still gonna make sense. There's some great music videos that I've done in the last year that have happened because of this. But I wouldn't have been able to do that as effectively if I didn't have all of the boards in front of me of exactly what I wanted to get, and be able to communicate that to both client and my department heads on the day. I'm able to look at them and say well, we don't need this shot, this shot, this shot, this shot, because we have these other things. We'll skip over that section and it's still gonna make sense. This is just super helpful. Storyboards for me have become almost a non-negotiable for anything that has some form of narrative in it. If it is a strictly performance-based music video, I don't need it. If it is a documentary, depending on the type, I probably don't need it. Although if it's a story that I know exactly what I'm going in to tell, which some docs are like that, I would love to storyboard it, because I think you're able to do a more powerful presentation and just more curated, tasteful feel. You can focus more on the lighting, you can focus more on the performance, you can focus more on the line delivery. it's just really helpful. And if there's ever a moment where your attention has to be somewhere else, the rest of your crew is well informed and they are able to execute without you having to be there to coach them through every little thing. And that is crazy important. So, all of this to say, storyboard, 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 especially if shot lists don't work for you. I think they rock because everyone's more informed. I will save anything else about storyboarding for another video. If you would like to see that, please comment below. Now that I'm talking about it and I'm so amped about it, I'll probably make a video about that because of that. I freaking love storyboards. Anyways, this is a big one. Number 6, I wish I had learned lighting earlier, a lot earlier. I came to film because of my love for photography and YouTube. I was a photographer and musician before I was ever a filmmaker. I was not like a studio photographer. I was like a landscapes and like go out with your friends on the weekends, go hike and take photos. That was kind of my bread and butter. I liked product photography, but I was way more about like, let's just like schedule the time of day. Like, let's just go at 4 p.m. and the sun sets at 5. Like, let's just do golden hour stuff. I didn't want to learn lighting. It scared me, especially once I started getting into film. I was like, man, I'm a good editor and I can direct things, but like my dream is to never hold a camera. I don't want to light things. And then at some point when I was probably 23, I decided that, kind of similar to the video I made the other day about exercises, I was like, I should just start learning the basics of lighting. And so I started watching like 2 different guys on YouTube every day while I would eat lunch. I would watch like a 10-minute video while I'd eat lunch at a coffee shop that I was working at. And I would just try to learn something about lighting every single day. And over time, that led to me actually really falling in love with lighting and cinematography. And I really, really enjoy it now. It's not my favorite part of the filmmaking process, but like I really love being just a DP, not having to be in charge of everything on set. I like hunkering in on the light. How does it look? What does the image look like? And I think there's like a real art to it. As technical as it can get, there's like a piece that's just pure creativity and art, and you're just trying to make something look pretty. And I was making videos for a long time for people, like getting paid to make videos for a long time, and I was just like going off of my photographer instinct of like, well, that shot looks good. Like this thing, like the natural light in the room looks good. But I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just like able to capture cool looking images and then fix a lot in post. And that's not great. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would highly recommend learning lighting, especially if you are a one-man band type person. Just learn it. It can't ever be a bad thing because you can learn it and then someday you won't have to do it. You can tell your DP what you want. You have language to discuss with him. You know what a key light is and a fill light and a negative fill and all of these things. So it's just helpful. Just learn it. I don't know why I like put up such a fight about it. It's literally my favorite part now. If I could just light things, like sometimes I'm like, man, maybe I should have just been a gaffer. I don't know. It's fun. I'd rather do lighting than deal with cameras. So take that as you will. All right, number 7, worked on developing my taste. This is kind of ambiguous, but it's important. How do I explain this? I think for a lot of young filmmakers, you're just trying to make what is cool, like in that moment in time, which is rad. That can be a good thing. But I wish I had kind of focused in on like, well, these are like the very specific things that I like. So for me, I love Alien. That's it. Apparently it's just Alien. I really love sci-fi. I really love like David Fincher thrillers. So like Prisoners by Denis Villeneuve, Seven, Alien, you know, these like moody thrillers that are low-key lighting, you know, hard backlight, smoke, haze, lens flares. Like, these are all things I like. These are all part of my taste as a filmmaker, not just visually, but also like narratively, the things that I enjoy. And this comes back to what I was talking about in the section about writing scripts, is like the very first script I wrote was a dramedy about like a father-son. And I don't think it was a bad script, but it wasn't something that I wanted to spend the next 3 years on. And if I had done a little bit more digging into me as a person, I would have realized a lot earlier that that's not a script that I should be making or that I should be writing. Now, there's a lot of elements from that script that got balled up and stuck into a new script that is great. There's a lot of those same like nuances and character moments and things, right? Because I still had some struggle stuff going in there that I liked, but it wasn't my taste. It wasn't what I should be making as me, Ty Combs, the filmmaker. And I think as a young, budding creative, I should have focused more on what do I like, not what can I make. Both are valuable, but if you are able to commit harder to the thing that you like, you are able to identify your own voice, your own tone, your own taste earlier, which is, in my opinion, more important than anything. I think that's the reason I gravitate towards certain filmmakers. It's the reason I like certain books. It's the reason I like watching certain shows. It's the reason I like certain cameras. Like, there's a certain thing going on in them, right? And if I had been aware of my own taste, I would have been able to become the filmmaker I am quicker and with better work. Do with that as you will. All right. Okay, yeah, this is a good one. Number 8, watch more movies. Full stop. This one I actually did pretty well when I was 21. I watched like 8 to 12 movies a week on average, I think. When I was 21, because I lived on a rock in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and I didn't really have very many obligations, and so I watched a lot of movies. Then I moved here and I stopped watching as many movies, and I wish I had kept it up. Because now I'm married, I have a house, I have a job. I am busy, to say the least, and it's hard. It's really hard to carve out time to watch movies. I still try to watch at least a movie a week, but when I was younger, I easily could have been watching a movie a day, and I wish I would have. That kind of goes into the whole taste thing, that goes into the reading and writing more scripts thing. It's all of this is about like bettering yourself as a filmmaker, and I think you got to be watching movies because as much as writing movies and reading scripts is important, film is a visual medium, so you got to be watching them. You got to like learn what you like, what you don't like, learn from the greats. There's a handful of like iconic movies that I still have not seen, and I wish I have, but I haven't. So go watch more movies. Oh man. All right, number 9, invest in gear. This one hurts. I am Mr. DIY, and there's nothing wrong with that. I am still DIY. This light above me is 2 house lights, like up lighting for your house, rigged to my ceiling in a cardboard box with tin foil inside of it and a bed sheet. No, that is a plastic tablecloth over the top of it, and it is skirted by a trash bag. I'm DIY as hell, and I think that's cool. Like that, this looks great. I love this setup, but I skipped out on like buying good lights, good cameras, good lenses for way too long. And I was always just like, I'll just make it work with what I have. I refused to rent things for a really long time. I refused to like ask clients for more budget so that I could rent things. I wish I hadn't, man. There's some projects early on that I'm like, dang, dude, if I had had like an extra $300, we could have made that look so much better. We could have gotten some lenses that were that much better, you know. And same thing, like there's a handful of projects that like I could have taken $300 out of my rate and put it towards gear and it looked way better, and I didn't, and that's fine because I, made that choice and needed to get paid, whatever. But man, I really wish like the Nikon, why was I so stingy, and very just like, oh, well, I'll just like make it work. And it's like, you don't have to. You could just like spend an extra $100 and like have this thing that works correctly. I have a good tripod now. I won't ever live without a good tripod again because I tried to use my old tripod 2 days ago and it's terrible. Why was I doing that for like years with a terrible tripod? I don't know. So that is part of growing as a filmmaker. I get it. I'm, again, not the most like technical guy. I like to try things out and get creative and make things work and problem solve. And I think it's actually one of my skill sets. But just get good gear. Like, you don't have to have the most expensive thing, but just get, like, don't skimp on gear just to save $100. Money's always gonna come in. Get the good thing, you're gonna have it for longer anyways. The number of things I've replaced 4 times because I bought the $20 version instead of the $100 version, it's ridiculous. Just buy good gear. Wow, and we're there. Number 10. This is maybe the most important one of all of it. Probably should have teased that earlier in the video like a real YouTuber, but I'm not going to. Number 10, talk to more people, work for more people, work with more people. I approached filmmaking as I'm a director, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it means that I spent 6 years, 7 years just working solo for artists. As a director, I was just a videographer who had a camera and had like a light. And I really wish I had jumped into PAing or being a grip or shooting BTS for larger productions. And I wish I had messaged every single filmmaker, every single director, DP, grip, gaffer, producer, anyone within 100 miles of here every month and said, can I get coffee? Can I come work for you? Because people do that to me currently. They message me and get coffee with me and ask me about my experience and how I got here and how I shoot the things I shoot, whatever. And I have so much admiration for it. I think it's so cool. I have people reach out and offer to shoot things, BTS, shoot photos or video BTS like for free just to like be on set and meet people and learn. And I don't know why I wasn't doing that, because I think you do learn so much more by watching other people than by just like figuring it out yourself. I mean, you learn a lot figuring it out yourself, but you can learn faster by just being on set more often. And man, I wish, like, especially being on like big sets, that's not something I started doing until 5 years in. And so like, I guess really like 7, 8 years into my career. Now I'm at 10 years and the big sets are sometimes my set. And sometimes I'm still just a crew member and those are great. But like, dude, could have been so much better. I could have been leaps and bounds ahead of where I am. Who knows? Maybe I would have just been a grip and electric guy and not making things for myself. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have actually become a DP or a director or any of these things. Maybe I wouldn't have written features, but I would be well versed in the film industry and the being on set lingo, practices, flow, all of it. And that's super beneficial. So if you are watching this and you are at the beginning of your career or even a couple years in, start doing that. You're not too good or too big to go PA for someone or to go hang around and shoot BTS for them. And you're definitely not too big to be getting a coffee with them and just getting to know them. I think That's the beauty of YouTube, of Instagram, socials in general, is it's social media, is you can connect with human beings who you want to connect with and get to know them, get to meet them, get to work with them. So if you take anything away from this video, let it be that. Please don't be too shy to reach out to the people that you want to emulate their career. All right, I think that's it. 10 things I wish I did earlier as a filmmaker. It was a long one. So if you're still here, thanks, appreciate you. This is a step in my consistency journey, in my goal to be more consistent, to be posting more on the internet, and to talk about the things that I'm thinking about within my career, within film. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, follow along. I'll be back soon. And go make something. Have fun. Talk to you later.